What's up? Welcome in. Hoge Jahns with you. Week 8. Bears, Cowboys.
Oh, come on. You have to do that with the Southern accent. Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? We'll get to that with Kent soon.
This feels like the big road trip game of the year to me. Like the one that I have the most Bears fans on the road.
Yes. Well, they got the seats for him down there.
Yeah. There's plenty.
Yes. 100,000.
How much?
100,000.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a cool stadium.
Is it not? Doesn't it fit 100,000 fans?
For some reason, I thought it was like in the 90s, but you're probably right.
90,000. Kent is correct.
Yeah, I thought it was 90.
Still good.
Yeah. 100 for the Super Bowl, though.
Okay, okay, where do the extra 10,000 seats come from?
Well, they're probably standing room only.
Yeah.
Remember, you've been there. There's like all that area. There's like so much area to just wander and stand.
Temporary seating.
That's what he said. Yeah. I don't know. Big news to talk about before we get to the game. By the way, Kent Garrison, our producer, is our guest today, too, because he hosts the About Them Cowboys podcast for The Athletic. He's our Cowboys guy. So he'll be jumping on here soon to talk about it. And then, of course, we got this big Robert Quinn trade we have to discuss. But really excited about this. We have some Bears tickets to auction off is how I should word it. Because all the money from this is going to go to charity. But we have an awesome listener longtime Hoge Jahns listener, who wants to remain anonymous, but has essentially donated 3 tickets to the upcoming Dolphins game. So in 2 weeks, the next home game, I think what is that, November 6th?
2 weeks into it.
Yeah. And
November 6th.
He said, look, I got these tickets. I want them to go to somebody who can use them in the Hoge Jahns family. And it'd be great if, you could find a way to auction them off for charity. I said, great. November is 22Q Awareness Month. We always do stuff for 22Q in the month of November. This game's in November. It's perfect. So then I had to try to figure out how we're going to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my DMs on Twitter.
Oh,
okay. Basically between now and then I'm going to shut them back down at kickoff on this Sunday. So between now and kickoff of the Cowboys game on Sunday, I'm going to have the DMs open. And just, if you would like the tickets, jump in there and tell me basically how much you're willing to pay for them. And then whoever offers the most, that's who will do it. I'll transfer you the tickets, and all that money, 100% of it, will go to 22Q Family Foundation.
Do we know where these tickets are, and are we agreeing to meet these 3 lucky fans before the game?
Great question. I have answers for both, although for you it might take a little bit of walking.
Then I'm out.
Or no, you can make a stop on your way. So first of all, full transparency, not the greatest seats in the world. We're not giving, these aren't 50-yard line, in the second row. They are 400 level seats. I want to say like the 15-yard line or something. They are 400 level seats. So, bid accordingly. However, CHGO is stepping up because we have a pregame tailgate before this game. And because parking is not included with the tickets, CHGO is also throwing in as part of this package that we're auctioning off a parking spot at the CHGO tailgate and 3 tickets to the tailgate as well, which includes food, drink, beer, everything, donuts, food on the grill. We did this our second tailgate. The first one was awesome. A lot of people there, a lot of fun. It is at the corner of Michigan and Roosevelt. Okay. So, and it starts at, I think it starts at 8 a.m. So plenty of time. Show up whenever you want. So we're throwing in parking, throwing in food and drink at this awesome tailgate at the corner of Roosevelt and Michigan as well. So again, that's what you're bidding on. 3 tickets to the game, Bears Dolphins in the 400 level, plus all you can eat and drink before the game, including a parking spot at the CHGO tailgate. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. and the money goes to benefit 22Q.
And for those that don't know, because it's been a year since we did our last like kind of big fundraiser for 22Q, that is the genetic condition that my son was born with back in 2014. It is a deletion of the 22nd chromosome, and it can result in all kinds of medical problems, depending on how big the deletion is. My son, just for example, has dealt with some heart stuff. He had surgery when he was younger. May need surgery again at some point in his life. Had difficulty eating when he was younger. Had a feeding tube. Fortunately, has grown out of a lot of that stuff. But there's a wide-ranging effects of depending, and every kid's different. So 22Q Family Foundation is a great foundation. They provide support and scholarships to kind of further the education of some of these kids that grow up with this. And anyway, there's a lot of information. Please check them out at the 22QFamilyFoundation.com, and you can read up more on it. But all of this will go to 22Q Family Foundation. Again, hit me in the DMs. Tell me what you are willing to pay if you want the tickets.
Slide into your DMs.
Yeah,
they would say.
And then and whoever offers the most, I will get you the tickets. And so if Johns is willing, I will be at the tailgate. I will be there. So you're 100% getting me. And if Johns is willing to stop there, which we can get your car in there for a little bit if you want to stop by on your way to the stadium.
Hold on. Do I get food?
Sure.
Do I get a picture with Greg Braggs? Oh,
no, that you got to pay for.
But is he signing them?
There's going to be a long line of fans just waiting for Greg Bragg's autograph line.
He's going to have like bricks. He's handing out bricks and signing bricks.
He's going to autograph bricks and hand them out.
Well, then I'll definitely be there if that's happening. I would love to see that, actually.
We can throw in a signed Greg Bragg's brick, too.
We can make this work. Just make sure I behave myself on the night of the 5th.
Yeah, well, that'll be the hard part for you.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the pod. Also mention all merch at obviousshirts.com. A portion of that November also goes to the 22Q Family Foundation. I got a Hoge Jahns shirt on today. Boom.
I got a North Face.
A little bit more expensive.
Warm.
It is warm. It's cold outside today. What the hell happened? All right, let's jump into this big news yesterday. Robert Quinn, he gone.
Yeah. What was your instant reaction?
Damn, they got a 4th round pick?
Yeah.
Okay.
The timing, admittedly, like I thought about the timing a bit. Admittedly, it's a bit awkward, right? You never like to see one of your star players have news broken to him while he's literally talking about other things, which Roquan Smith was doing. You saw the real emotion.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people forget that players are real people too. They feel things. They have emotions. All that stuff you saw from Roquan Smith. He's going to miss Robert Quinn. The timing is awkward because you just won a game. It's a move that needs everybody to sign off on, Matt Eberflus included, because that's going to take some messaging, some meetings to get over. But I like that Ryan Poles consistently keeps the big picture, the long-term picture, like at the forefront of everything that he's doing right now, as much as he wants to win every single game this season.
Yeah, because another way to look at this is like, I get it. Like, it sucks. And quickly, also appreciate that Ryan Poles just can candidly say, yeah, it sucks messing with the locker room culture right now, but I got to do what's best for the team. In long term, this is what's, and I'm paraphrasing now, but he did say the part about it sucks messing with the locker room culture. Like, it's okay to say that. It's okay to be real about what the situation is. So I actually, first of all, when a big trade like this happens, just have the GM come downstairs, talk, say real things. There's no downside to it. So shout out to Poles for doing that first and foremost. And then it's like, okay, what is the downside? The downside is probably a couple days where some guys in the locker room are a little shook up about it. But like, that's not a reason to keep a guy on your roster for the rest of the year versus acquiring a 4th round pick. Like he's not the difference between you winning a Super Bowl this year. That ain't happening. And even if like we're going to make a leap and a stretch that in the weak NFC, the Bears could end up flirting with a playoff spot. If we're still going to make that stretch, based on how Robert Quinn's played the rest so far this year, do you think he's going to be the difference there either? So like from a football standpoint, I don't really see any downside to trading him away. In fact, I think Dominique Robinson and Travis Gibson deserve to be on the field more in the big picture for the long-term view. So I view this as a win-win because I thought there was a bigger downside, and we don't know what the offers might have been in the summer, but I actually saw more of a downside from a football standpoint of trading Quinn over the summer, Johns, because I did see the value of his mentorship, especially in training camp when you're practicing hard every day and really putting in the fundamentals and the techniques. I thought that he could have a benefit on these young guys, and I think that has happened. So you kind of stretch that all the way to the trade deadline, and then you got a 4th-round pick for him. Like I think it's a perfect scenario.
I think that benefit even stretches to the other side of the ball, where you had a left tackle, a rookie left tackle, 5th-round pick from a small conference of Braxton Jones, who faced him every single day in practice. That became an added benefit as Braxton Jones earned that starting spot, right? Extra reps against him. I think, though, it is a very unique, let's call it a reality check. Think of that locker room. You're coming off your best win of the season. You just beat Bill Belichick on the road in Foxborough on Monday Night Television by 19 points. It's the math, right? By 19 points. You're feeling good about yourself. You're feeling like you could win some games. And then, boom. One of your captains, one of your 4 permanent captains, as voted on by you, the players in that locker room, is traded. It's a reality check. Like, oh, shit. The Eagles are contenders. We are still a rebuilding team with a lot of work to do. A young team with a lot of work to do. And that can be tough to swallow, but it's the truth. Is it not? Like, sometimes you have to, like, look at the conversation in Green Bay. Like, it's the truth, and criticism is being discussed because Aaron Rodgers is throwing his teammates under the bus again.
Yeah, that's a thing going on
But
there.
sometimes you got to have those real conversations. The Bears are a young team with young players in starting spots on both sides of the ball. And this is a move made for 2023, 2024. The Bears need to get younger. They need draft picks. They need draft capital, all those things to make things work, not only for 2023, but beyond that.
And by the way, I think the players are smart enough to understand.
They should be, yes. And I think eventually by Sunday, they'll realize that. I do think there's a difference between trading Robert Quinn and like a Roquan Smith and a David Montgomery. I think players are smart enough to realize that reality as well. Like Robert Quinn is 32 and in his 12th season. He's a prime candidate for trade. His contract is big. Roquan Smith, David Montgomery, they're potential building blocks. Guys in their mid-20s. Guys who have a lot of good football left ahead of them. Guys still in the rookie deals. Trading them would, like the message of trading those 2 guys would be a lot different than what just happened with Robert Quinn, in my opinion.
What do you think is going to happen with Robert Quinn and the Eagles? Like, if you had to predict how many sacks he'll have for the rest of this season. Because one of my favorite things about Robert Quinn is just like how down to earth, like he's kind of hard to figure out sometimes. And I don't think he really wanted to move his family again. I mean, I think that was actually a thing when he came to Chicago. Like, there's an adjustment period there. I think that actually kind of hurt him that first season when he didn't really produce at all. So there's that side of it, but there's also the side of, oh shit, I might be able to actually win a ring.
Yeah, well, I think that's gonna probably be an extreme motivation for him. He's just gonna call his old buddy Chris Long. See how that worked out for him in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I side more towards I think he'll actually produce more for the Eagles than he already has for the Bears so far this season. And what are you asking for if you're the Eagles? I mean, you still got to keep your expectations in check here. 5 sacks?
5 or 6 sacks.
5 sacks the rest of the season, and maybe he gives you one huge play in the playoffs. That makes it worth
you
it.
Want. You want that pressure when you only want to rush 4 in the playoffs against whomever. You want your pass rushers getting home, and he can provide that. The juice should be there. I still think he has. He still has that very unique bend that he has. I'm trying to look up the Eagles stats right now to see who actually leads them in sacks right now. I do know that Robert Quinn was facing a high number of double teams, more so than he faced last year when he went for 18.5. Obviously, he's got different players on the opposite side of him. No more Khalil Mack, although Khalil Mack missed a lot of time last year. And the scheme is a bit different. But I do think he should be able to provide 5 or 6 sacks in the regular season here. Let me just look at their sack numbers here. So you got Hassan Reddick leading them 4.5. You have Brandon Graham with 3. Fletcher Cox still there with 3. So not a bad defensive line to be joining.
Yeah, I think it's a good move for the Eagles. Like, this could be a win-win for both teams. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what you were looking for in, hoping a team would come get Robert Quinn, and it would be a team like this that feels like they really need one more pass rusher to solidify their defense. And then you pick up the salary for the rest of this year, and you get a 4th-round pick.
Well, the Bears are helping with a lot of that salary, but
no, that's why I'm saying the Bears. I'm sorry, I was saying the Bears are picking up, the salary, and then you get a 4th-round pick, and now he's off the books, and now you have $125 million to work with.
Yeah, I want to get, like, if you're having difficulties, even if you're a player having difficulties realizing why this move was made, and you're under contract for 2023, just look at what Ryan Poles has at his disposal. More than $125 million in cap space, and now 9 draft picks. 9. After what looks to be a pretty good first draft for him. Gordon, Brisker, Braxton Jones, Dominique Robinson.
Yeah.
That long, you gotta keep the long term. Like, it's difficult for GMs, I think, especially, and in particular coaches, to keep the long term perspective in mind. But I'm glad to see the Bears are still functioning that way, because this was easier for Ryan Poles than Matt Eberflus. This is a guy that Matt Eberflus has come to covet, to enjoy being around, who he needs on the field, who is one of his team leaders, who's on that leadership council that he meets with every week. Now he's gone. Sure, you got young guys to develop, but you have to sign off on this move if you're Matt Eberflus. You're the one who's got to address the team every single day.
No, that's a good point. I mean, you do. Robert Quinn is definitely somebody as a coach you like having around, and that is a loss in many different areas that you have to adjust. But I also think that Matt Eberflus completely understands what the long-term picture is here, and they've probably communicated going all the way back to the spring about the possibility of trading Robert Quinn. Yes. Whether it was, in June or whether it was yesterday.
Yes, he should have been, Flus should have been long prepared for this situation, this exact situation to play.
And my guess is, too, that Flus and Alan Williams are sitting there going, yeah, we like what Travis Gibson and Dominique Robinson are doing right now. And we want to get them on the field more. So I don't think they're that. There's definitely an adjustment, but I don't think they're that heartbroken.
Do you know who leads the Bears in quarterback hits right now?
Gibson.
Yep.
Yeah. He's played well, in my opinion. So, all right, we do have to get to the Dallas Cowboys. This is a tough game this week. tough game. This is not. I think we got to be clear. This is not the New England Patriots. Like I think the Patriots. Now the question is though. I think are the Cowboys overrated at all? Because we kind of learned that about the Patriots. Are the Cowboys? So let's bring in our guy, our producer, Kent Garrison, to the show.
What's up, Kent? Is this like the first time?
Boys.
I feel like this is
Let
like
me
the
just
first
be the
time.
first to say, yeah, first time, long time.
Yes.
I feel like I've been here for years, honestly.
Behind the scenes.
Haven't popped on the air yet. So
I want to say this is your
good.
first YouTube appearance.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the
yeah,
flesh.
I have been on the pod, a couple times. Yes, in the flesh. This YouTube thing has been awesome. Shout out to the Hoge Jahns Nation out there for supporting and tuning into the live streams and everything. It's been really fun to build with you guys.
And hit the subscribe button and the like button.
Yes.
And all that jazz. Kent. So the thing about Kent is he actually lives down in Texas and hosts the About Them Cowboys podcast for the Athletic. So nobody knows what's going on down. He actually used to work for the Cowboys too at one point. So he knows the organization inside and out. And first of all, I want to give the Cowboys credit, Kent, because they weathered a pretty good storm early on this season. You lose your starting quarterback week 1 in a game that didn't look that good. And they come back and what are they, 5-1 since that happened? 5-1.
Yeah.
And for 5 of those games, Cooper Rush was the quarterback. That's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Huge credit to Mike McCarthy, the whole coaching staff on the way they handled that situation, the way they kept their head down when Dak went down and brought Cooper Rush in. And shout out to Cooper Rush too, because this is a guy who honestly everybody had their doubts about. Even though he's done nothing but have success when he's gotten opportunities. He came in, he knows this playbook. He knows this team. He's been around for a long time. He's been cut multiple times. He's been on other teams. He's been on practice squads. So, he's waiting for this opportunity really to have sustained starts in the NFL, more than just a kind of a one-off appearance. And so he's looking forward to this. He took advantage of the opportunity, and really it was just fundamental football is what you saw from him. It was, knowing the playbook, knowing your receivers. It was those reps that he had gotten in practice squad with Noah Brown, really that showed in those few games. Noah Brown emerged as a threat on offense, so which we hadn't really seen as a sustained thing before. So you really saw just the leadership ability of Cooper Rush, why they kept him around for so long, why they actually went back to him. He was actually the 3rd string quarterback last year going into training camp and actually won the job to be the 2nd string guy. The Cowboys have given every opportunity for somebody else to come in and be the quarterback since Andy Dalton left, and Cooper Rush has taken the opportunity and run with it. I honestly was optimistic, like, man, Dak goes down. If they win 1 or 2 of these games, I think that's a win. The fact that they came out of this thing essentially unscathed is unbelievable to me. And, huge credit to the coaching staff, Kellen Moore, for making that happen.
So what changes now that Prescott is back? Like just in terms of on the field operation, but also like the expectation for this team. Your backup is now out of there. Your starter is in, and you're 5-2. I imagine now it's full steam ahead. Let's become a contender here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's difficult for Dak because the sample size for 2022 is just so small. He's only played in 2 games really so far. He's still trying to put it together with this offense, getting some kind of a rhythm. Cooper Rush was able to do that over the few games that he was able to start. But what you get with Dak is an explosive offense. I don't want to say they're explosive, but they have the potential to be more explosive with Dak on the field than they do with Cooper Rush. I think maybe the playbook is a little more limited. Certainly Dak can rush way more, no pun intended there. He's way more of a threat to run than Cooper Rush ever would. So defenses have to worry about that. And I think you just see the potential of this offense to go up with Dak down the field. Now, can Dallas win and not be explosive? Sure, they've done it the past few weeks, but I think they want to be an explosive offense. Um, and these receivers are really what's holding them the most back right now. I think the running game has been fine. The offensive line has actually been better than expected, but it's Dak getting on the same page with these receivers. And hopefully if he, can start multiple games in a row here, that will start to happen.
How's our old friend Jason Peters doing?
Yeah, oh man, he's been doing awesome. They actually didn't need him as quickly as they thought they would. Tyler Smith, the rookie, they kind of brought in Peters as we don't know how Tyler Smith's going to be. Let's bring in Peters, an experienced guy who's got some position flexibility, who can maybe come in if needed. Tyler Smith's actually been good. I mean, as good as you would want a first round pick to be, but a lot of Cowboys fans and scouts didn't think he would be this good right away. So that's been a positive sign. And Peters has been been able to come in and out when they've needed him, been a great presence in the locker room, huge leader for that side of things. And so I think other than Zach Martin and Tyron still kind of around, but the offensive line room really needed leadership and needed that kind of veteran presence and also some swing ability when guys go down. So Peters has been awesome, but I think the offensive line has always been an asset for Dallas.
It looks like Zeke Elliott's going to be out this week, huh?
Yeah, it does. And that's another debate here in Dallas. I don't know where you guys fall on that and what you've seen with this. Oh, team,
I'm a big Tony Pollard guy.
Yeah.
I think they should give him every single carry, every single week.
This is
and
a fantasy
fantasy victory.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there are Cowboys fans that think that though, like Tony Pollard should be the number one guy, and Zeke is your, I don't know, ancillary back, auxiliary back, whatever you want to call it. But Zeke's been the guy ever since he's been drafted, and he's a huge leader on this team. He's a great pass blocker. He provides them a lot of flexibility. Tony Pollard certainly has had his moments and has, a higher yards per carry average than Zeke. He's breaking off a lot more big runs than Zeke is, but Zeke is your consistent guy and your goal line back and your short yardage back, that kind of stuff. And so Zeke wants to play. So if Zeke's healthy, Zeke's going to play. That's kind of the way it is. They gave him the big contract. Maybe they can get out of it here soon, but he's been productive this year. He really has. I mean, again, the Cowboys probably give him every opportunity to fail, and so they can get rid of him, but he stepped up to the plate and stayed relevant in this offense. And so, yeah, if Zeke can turn it back on, he showed some ability this year, some vision that we hadn't seen since his rookie year. He had a run against the Eagles that completely embarrassed some Eagles defenders when he cut back across the field and completely broke some ankles. And we hadn't seen that from Zeke in quite some time. So it's encouraging, but he's got to stay healthy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I always feel like this is just like the identity of the Cowboys. Like always good up front offense on the offensive line and just a good running game, right? Like this is what they do. This is what the Joneses like to see in their football team, is it not?
I think you're probably right. It probably does go to Jerry and Steven and the entire, I don't know, upper echelon of the organization and how they want to play. They want to be a physical football team. They want to be a hard-nosed physical football team. I don't know if they want to be the Chiefs, really. I don't know if they want to be the finesse football team. I think Cowboys football really is control the game on the ground, and play good defense. And that's how they won championships in the past. That's a formula that's had success for them in seasons past when that's been their identity with Jason Garrett. And so, had a lot of winning seasons then, not a lot of playoff success. And that's a whole nother story. Maybe we get to that in the big picture of things, but yeah, I mean, they want to run the football, period. And I think, keeping Amari out of the picture this year proves that. They didn't really replace him, and they want to run the football.
You gave Mike McCarthy some praise off the top. Has the view on him changed a lot, or has the view on him been different in Dallas compared to the rest of the country, where it seemed like there was definitely a thought that he he probably wasn't going to make it past this season as the head coach down there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if this is the perfect comp. Like Mike McCarthy sort of reminds me of John Fox. I mean, they're different sides of the ball, guys. Mike McCarthy's offense, John Fox was defense, but like just guys that like, yeah, they know what they're doing. Fox made a couple Super Bowls. Mike McCarthy made a Super Bowl. But like when you really watch, yeah, but I know when you really watch them every week, it's like there's a lot of people who think Mike McCarthy doesn't know how to coach. And
right?
Like
is there any kind of coaching advantage happening here? You know,
yeah,
is there anything like you're bringing to the table more than your average coach? I mean, I know the resume is there, but I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Like even when Fox got to Chicago, it's like it wasn't the worst hire in the world because he had the experience to know like what needed to be fixed and buttoned up within the organization. I feel like Mike McCarthy has done that. Like it's been a clown show at times down in Dallas, and he's brought his experience down there to at least like reduce the nonsense, if that makes sense. But at the same time, like I don't know that he's out coaching everyone every single week within the football game.
Oh, absolutely. And I think he leaves that stuff up to Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn. Really, I think he's really taken a step back in being the offensive head honcho. He's a locker room guy. He's a player's coach. And I think the team really likes him. I think the team played hard for Jason Garrett. I think they understood what Jason Garrett was trying to do on the football field, but I don't know if the locker room truly vibed with Jason Garrett as a dude. And I think they vibe with Mike McCarthy as a dude. I think they vibe with Dan Quinn as a dude. I think they vibe with Kellen Moore as a dude. And I think that makes a difference here. And, you know, the results will speak for themselves at the end of the year. The offseason was insane, guys, with the Sean Payton stuff. I mean,
yeah.
The narratives, the way McCarthy tried to swerve the narrative by going on radio and addressing the situation himself. It's like, dude, you don't have to talk about this. Like you're making it more of a narrative by like, let me just address this real quick. You know, let me say something before we get into this, Dan, that kind of thing. And so Sean Payton's out there, and that's always been the dream.
Yeah. What would you put the percentage chance right now that Sean Payton's the head coach of the Cowboys next season?
How does this season end? I think it all depends on how the season.
Let's say they make the playoffs. They don't win the East. The Eagles still win the division, but they make the playoffs. They win.
They win a wild card game and then they lose.
Yeah, in the divisional round.
I think if they don't make it, if they don't win the division or make it to past 2 rounds of the playoffs, I would say McCarthy's fate is probably up in the air. The way that things ended last year, guys, with San Francisco, Dallas had a team to be reckoned with last year. They had all the horses on offense, on defense. Historic season for Trayvon Diggs. Historic season for Micah Parsons. Amari Cooper coming on. You're winning games with Cooper Rush in Minnesota. You had all the horses and they blew it. And so if he doesn't do it this year, there's really no excuse left. I mean, we've given you one more year to get this thing back on track. I don't know what one more year is really going to do at the end of the day. And if Sean Payton's out there, he's not going to be a free agent forever. He's going to get bored. There's going to be a contender out there that's going to want him. And so it makes too much sense to make that move at that time when you have pieces on your team, the Dak Prescotts, the Micah Parsons, to make a run. Make the run.
How about Dan Quinn? He was a head coach candidate here in Chicago. I assume it'd be Payton over Quinn, but tell us about what he's doing there, at least this year defensively. Yeah. He's got a top 5 defense, does he not? I think number 2 or 3 in scoring. Something's going right for Dan Quinn.
Man, he's been awesome. The fact that he even chose to stay in Dallas was pretty awesome. I mean, he could have gone several places this offseason. I don't know if there was maybe a team that was going to be as big of a contender or have as many of the pieces that he wanted as Dallas. So he wanted to stick it out, maybe play with these chess pieces one more year and see what we can do. I thought the defense would take a step back, honestly, from where they were last year. Just statistically, historically, you don't see defenses have that great of a year 2 years in a row. It's kind of up and down usually, but they've blown me away. I think it's Micah Parsons is a generational talent, and Dan Quinn realized that very early on, brought him in, and the way he's been able to use him, it's really Micah described it, I think this week, as a father-son relationship. It's Micah treats it like, I don't want to let my father down, when my father challenges me to do something. And so they really have that camaraderie as people and as professionals. And the way Dan has been able to move him around in the offense, I mean, he's played he'll line up at 8 or 9 different positions across the line. Yeah. You can't prepare for that. If you're there's no way to actively prepare for something like that as a quarterback, as an offensive line, to scout team that. And so it's just kept offenses on their toes, and it's really defensive genius, is all I can say, is the way he's been able to handle this. We haven't seen anything like this in Dallas in as long as I've been covering the team, 10 years, and I haven't seen anything like it.
All right. What do you think is going to happen Sunday? You know both of these teams pretty well. Do the Bears have any chance?
I think, I hate to say it, I don't think they do, because of the offensive line, the way, Lucas Patrick taking a hit. I think Dallas is due for a big game offensively with Dak, which we haven't really seen yet. So I think Dallas is going to be able to get to Justin Fields, going to make things really tough for him. And I think Dallas will do some things offensively that we haven't seen. Maybe try to get a little cute. They try to get a little cute with these noon games sometimes, Dallas does. They'll put out, do some jet sweeps or do some weird things. So I anticipate that, especially with Zeke out, maybe they're going to have to open up the playbook a little bit more. We'll see how that unfolds for him. But I'm definitely leaning Dallas in this game, just because I think this defense is, historically good.
Okay, let me rephrase Hoge's question. Can the Bears cover?
Yeah,
the 8.5.
I don't have them covering.
Whoa.
I have Dallas in a pretty big win here.
Like by 10.
You want me to give my score prediction now?
Yeah, give us a score.
On our pod, I had Dallas 30, Bears 17.
Okay.
Wow. The offensive explosion coming this week.
We have to.
I don't think 30 points is like an explosion, but for Dallas, yeah, it is this year.
we have to come up with something if the Bears do cover now, Adam.
I mean, listen, Justin Fields can run the ball. That's going to make it tough for him. I think this is going to be an exciting game. I told Johns I think there's going to be some fumbles, some interceptions, some crazy stuff happen. I just have that sense. I don't think it's going to be a 6-3 snooze fest. And so, yeah, I mean, certainly Chicago can win this game if Dallas turns the ball over, which they haven't really been doing. So we'll see.
All right. Well, the Bears have been fumbling plenty. They just never lose the ball. I don't know how. It's the most amazing thing ever, except on punts.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
all right, boys.
Kent. No,
sorry.
I can't wait to see the reaction to that. Appreciate you, Kent. Make sure you're following
on Twitter
at Kent Garrison. He's the best. He does a lot of great work behind the scenes for us. So make sure you're checking everything out. Hey, you may start noticing that there are these strange tall boys of beer in the bottled water section of your local stores. Well, it's not actually beer. It's actually just mountain spring water from the Alps. It tastes really good, and it's called Liquid Death. You've seen me drinking it on our shows here at Hoge Jahns. If you've been watching the YouTube stream, you might be wondering, okay, well, why is it called Liquid Death, though? Well, that's because it will brutally murder your thirst, but more importantly, their infinitely recyclable tallboy cans are helping to bring death to plastic bottles. And they also donate 10% of the profits from every can sold to help kill plastic pollution. The reality is most plastic you throw in a recycling bin actually just gets sent to a landfill because it's not profitable to recycle. Aluminum is infinitely recyclable and actually profitable for recycling facilities. So go get Liquid Death at your local 7-Eleven, Jewel, Target, or CVS, or find a Liquid Death retailer near you with their store locator tool at liquiddeath.com/Adam. That's liquiddeath.com/Adam. Hey, after a weekend of tailgating, life can be scary when you show up for work Monday pretending your brain is still functioning. We all deal with Sunday scaries, right? Sunday scaries are those oh shit, stressful, nervous, can't sleep, dread feelings that hit you on Sunday evening when you think about work or school tomorrow. They're just freaking life in general. Unfortunately, you can feel that same pit in your stomach any day of the week. And Sunday Scary's CBD gummies were made to defeat the crap that life throws at us. These are the perfect CBD gummies for professionals on the grind, super moms, students, party animals, regretful drunk sexters. Yeah, that's a thing. And everything in between. Look, we all have the right to live scare-free. So, whether you need to take the edge off, calm your racing mind, sleep better, or just chill, take 2 CBD gummies every day to keep the scaries away. Let me save you with my 25% discount. Visit sundayscaries.com and use my promo code THEATHLETIC for your discount. That's promo code THEATHLETIC for 25% off at sundayscaries.com.
One of the biggest pains of having to dress nice and wear a nice dress shirt is the clothes are uncomfortable, they're tight, and they're never your size. Plus, you have to change clothes for all these different activities. If only there was a way to fix all of these problems. Well, luckily, there is, and that is the radical reinvention of the dress shirt, thanks to Rhone. Rhone has stepped up to the challenge to make the commuter shirt the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible shirt known to man. And here's why. Mobility is everything. Rhone's comfortable 4-way stretch fabric provides breathability and flexibility that leaves you free to enjoy what life throws your way. From your commute to your work to your 18 holes of golf. With Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the shirt. It's that easy. Plus, with Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. And on top of that, Rhone's 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. We love our commuter shirts here at Team Hoge Jahns. Makes it super easy with the busy lifestyles of having to go to the press box, back to home, back to practice, take the kids to school, do it all over again. You can do it in one shirt, thanks to Rhone. The commuter shirt can get you through any workday and straight into whatever comes next. So head to rhone.com/Adam and use promo code Adam to save 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to rhone.com/Adam and use the code Adam. It's time to find your corner office comfort.
There's a stretch for the 3 big questions. I'm ready.
All right. 3 big questions. Number 1. Who leads the Bears in sacks by the end of the season? Do you know who their current leader is, Adam Hoge?
Roquan Smith?
Yes. Good call. With
With
2.5.
3? I was going to say 3. Okay, 2.5.
Travis
Who's
Gibson
next?
with 2. We have 3 guys with 2. Travis Gibson, Justin Jones, and get this one, Jaquan Brisker.
Yeah, he got in there on a blitz.
2 times.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Gibson, but let's not forget now. I mean, the downside of this is Robert Quinn not in the field, Robert Quinn not getting as much attention. Well, Robert Quinn getting 0 attention because he's not there anymore. So there's going to be an adjustment period. I do think, like, as much as I do think these younger guys have been playing okay and should be out there more developing, the pass rush is just not going to be a strength of the Bears the rest of this season. It's just not going to be. And the reality is you can't trade Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, regardless of what the production is, and expect it to be better or
True.
even the same. So who leads the Bears in sacks? I'll go with Travis Gibson. But where's he at now? 2?
2.
6.
And I'm going to go out and say that I think Roquan Smith flirts with that as well. I think they'll continue to blitz him. He's a great blitzer. Number 2. You like it? Number 2. How many design runs are you calling for Justin Fields?
So there were
Against
10
Cowboys.
last week, right?
10 or
10?
11. I said someone had 12, someone had 10, someone had 11. Call it double digits.
Okay.
How many are you calling?
I think that gets cut like in half this week. Because one, I think the Cowboys spy him. The cool thing about Micah Parsons is you can literally every week do something different with him. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're just like, yo, this week, you have Justin Fields. That's your job. Our best versus your best.
See, isn't it kind of like he's a true game wrecker? He's a special player, but so is Aaron Donald. Like sometimes the answers to stopping Aaron Donald are running straight at him. Are they not?
True.
Maybe the Bears do that to Micah Parsons.
Well, and I should say, like, the thing about spying a quarterback is that it's more about scrambling. If you're going to do a design run, you can block the spy, right? Like you can design it up that way. But I think the point still remains, man. If I'm Dan Quinn this week, I'm like, yo, Micah Parsons, just whether it's scrambling or design runs, like you're on Justin Fields because that's the guy who's going to beat us. And oh, by the way, just the fact that we're saying that is a pretty good sign for Justin Fields.
Yes, I would. Like the vibe I get from Luke Getsy, like every time that he says, I want to see our identity on film, I could see him going to this game where, okay, we're going to call 5 to 10 runs for Justin Fields. And I am daring the Cowboys to try to stop it. And if they can't stop it, I'm going to do more. But I could see what you're saying. I could see instead of using Velus Jones Jr. as a decoy, maybe a couple of those runs go to him instead of Justin Fields.
Well, and I'm not even sure he was a decoy, like that it looked like Justin was actually reading, the backside and chose to keep it. So maybe this week they over pursue. I think that's what's the cool thing. If they're doing this correctly, and I do think that there's signs that Luke Getsy's doing this correctly, whatever they did last week, there should be a counter from the same looks. So if they are going to have Micah Parsons stay on Justin, then you do hand it off. Now you're running away from Micah Parsons, or whoever it is. They got some good players on this defense. Let's get back to the main problem. This is a mismatch on paper. It's not good. But I will say I like whether it's design runs to Justin Fields or just handing the ball off. You got to run the ball well this week, because I'm scared to death of Fields just sitting back there running around.
Yeah, get the ball out too. Like if there's any week where you really have to overemphasize throw the ball away, Justin, it's a good week to do it.
But that's where he's got to be better at these short horizontal passes. You have to be more accurate on them, or you can't call them. Like that's part of the quick game. You have to be more accurate with them.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3 is Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, candidate for the Bears job that went to Matt Eberflus. Is he a head coach in the NFL in 2023?
If the Cowboys continue this, yes. Yeah, I think he is. It was interesting that, Kent said it earlier, and he's right. There was a lot of interest in Dan Quinn last year, and he seemed to be picky about what he wanted. He wanted the Bears job. Then he didn't get it, and he just made the decision right there that he was going to stay in Dallas. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I mean, when you can hitch yourself to a generational player like Micah Parsons, good things are going to happen. Plus, he's got, I remember us talking about this. Weren't we doing a pod on Dan Quinn when Matt Eberflus got fired? If I'm remembering that right.
Mm-hmm. Fired, not hired, not fired.
Yeah.
You're firing the guy already. But
oh, no. He's not fired yet. That's 5 years away, right?
No.
I gave him 5 years.
I wasn't even going to say anything.
I said 5 years.
Okay.
That's a lot for a Bears head coach.
It is.
I'm just kidding. I shouldn't kid about that, but no, that was just popping back into my memory. We were doing like a Dan Quinn special, and then like the news, or we just got done with it, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it was Bears hire Matt Eberflus. Okay, we'll scrap that pod.
Yeah, that pod is forever recorded. I think I still have it.
Yeah, we actually interviewed a guest.
Yes, we did. I'm trying to remember who that was. I know what you're saying about Dan Quinn pulling himself out there at that time, but I do think it was the Bears' decision also going with Matt Eberflus. I generally like the idea of like head coaches just aren't picky enough sometimes. And I think Dan Quinn realizes that he's in a situation where he's going to be coveted for at least the next couple of years, where he could be picky about situation. I'm not saying the Bears weren't ideal for him, because I think there was a lot to like about the Bears situation for him, just in terms of having like a clean slate. But like more head coaches need to be picky, or more head coach candidates need to be picky about where they go. They really do.
And I'm trying to tap back into my brain of what we were talking about on that pod, and I think I'm getting at it. I still think Dan Quinn can be a good head coach. I think he was a good head coach in Atlanta. I think that the way in which they lost that Super Bowl, I don't know how many coaches could have recovered from it, especially considering they lost Kyle Shanahan. And I remember us talking about, hey, he deserves credit for hiring Kyle Shanahan in the first place. But also, the big failure was they never did a good job of replacing him. And that, I think, was ultimately the downfall there. So that would be my big question, right? Is who's his offensive coordinator? I think that's got to be answered. But I do think he'll be a head coach.
Well, I think just
again,
one quick thought on that. That tree, like you can't replace a Kyle Shanahan. Let's be honest. One of the best play callers, one of the best run designers in the game. But that Shanahan tree, that Shanahan McVay tree, has a lot more branches now in the NFL. And I think you can find, like the Bears found one, Luke Getsy. I think the early returns are positive. Over-unders. Let's go through this quickly, my friend. Sacks for Micah Parsons. I got it at 2.5.
Wow. I'm going to take the under. I do think he gets at least one. But I also think the Bears are going to have a plan for him. A lot of attention, although that's every single week for Micah Parsons. I do think the Bears give up some sacks in this game. It just might be some of the other players out there.
Yeah. I would say maybe 1.5 for Parsons. He'll give you that one sack early where you're like, oh, no, it's going to be a long game. But then the Bears adjust. DeMarcus Lawrence is still there, is he not?
Yes. Who's the other guy that has like 6 sacks right now?
You make me look this up. I got it.
Got it?
Keep talking.
He might even be a rookie.
Dorrance Armstrong Jr.
Yes.
Number 92 for those at home.
Like, they got multiple guys that are problems. So,
he's a 4th-round pick from 2018.
Okay, so definitely not a rookie.
Definitely not a rookie.
There's a rookie in my brain.
Dante Fowler's on this team.
Yeah, they got guys. It's a problem. So all right, next one.
Justin Fields passer rating. I'm setting it at 77.5. That's very low, but everybody should know that the Cowboys are allowing opposing quarterbacks to average 77.7 this season. I am going over. I think he flirts with something in the high 80s, low 90s.
Okay, unfortunately, I'm going to go under.
Whoa.
I just look, passer rating is skewed by touchdowns and interceptions that weigh heavily, and I could see this being a game where like the game's over and we're like, okay, Justin Fields was all right. It wasn't a disaster, but I think points are gonna be hard to come by. And so this might be a 1 interception, 0 touchdown performance. Or maybe he scores a touchdown and it's with his legs.
Okay.
So I just think the passer rating, like last week, Was his pass rating like 80 something?
It was in the 80s.
And like it was his best game of the season. So I don't know that the passer rating is always going to reflect how he plays.
Well, it's an incomplete stat, but it's one at our disposal if you're looking at opposing quarterback averages against a certain defense.
Yeah.
Long-winded answer there.
Under.
Over. All right. Shots by the broadcast of George McCaskey. You know, Jerry Jones will be on a lot. I mean, if I was setting this for Jerry Jones, it'd be like 5.5. But for George McCaskey, I'm setting this at a half.
Yeah, how many games do they even show George?
I was just thinking about that. Well, obviously, I'm going to be watching at home during this week again. Kevin Fishbane is going to Dallas for us. But I want to say, like, not a lot, because usually some of those are shared on Twitter. Jerry Jones is always on TV. Always. He talks to the media after the games as well. But I'm going to say in this instance, there's one. I think you get a shot of the McCaskey family.
Okay. I'm gonna say no, because normally they're not. I don't know.
Maybe they can't find him.
Maybe.
Jerry, you know where he is.
Well, Jerry wants to be seen. Here's my box. Hello.
Yeah. George, to his credit, actually sits in the stands at Soldier Field, so a little bit more difficult to find. I'm sure he doesn't want to be found either. Now, you can find him actually walking through the parking lots. He likes to engage fans there, but don't see him much on the broadcast.
All right.
Bold predictions.
My bold prediction. I think I forgot it. I had one and I didn't write it down, and now I'm forgetting what it was. Go ahead, you do yours. It's gonna come back.
I am getting off the Cole Kmet touchdown bold prediction.
Oh, finally.
Watch it happen though. Watch it.
Yeah.
Happen. I am going to go with, get this, a Velus Jones Jr. touchdown.
Okay, well, he did it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but now he's been benched. Now he's playing like a dozen snaps on offense.
Okay.
Benched a punt returner. I think they find a way to inject the speed into the offense this week, because I think they need it against that Dallas defense.
Okay. Now I remember what it was, because it has to do with the fumbles. Is it possible to have a negative bold prediction? I think the Bears lose 2 fumbles in this game. I just like the law of averages says you can't keep putting the ball on the ground.
But they had but it was a foggy, misty day. It had rained all day in Foxborough.
I know.
You don't think that's part of the problem there?
Maybe, but it's been an issue all season.
Yeah.
It was more of an issue.
Like some of those short lateral throws you're talking about for Fields, like that ball just looked like it was not even in his hand.
Yeah, and some of them have been snaps. Some of them have involved the center, and Sam Mustipher's back in there.
Sam Mustipher gives you 1 or 2 plays like every game where you're just like, whoa, what is he doing? He had one like
where he was like running around in circles or whatever.
Yes, what was that? I'm assuming there was like a miscommunication, but he was like the only guy who thought, and he's the center, mind you, the center, not like a guard, not a rookie guard, the center, who he went out there like it was a screen. Everybody else just pass blocked. You know what play I'm talking about?
I do. I think that was just he was doing the right things a little bit. Like he was making sure he wasn't going downfield, because you can't be caught downfield. There's a penalty. He knew they were rolling the pocket to the right. I think he just couldn't figure out who the hell to block, and so it just looked awful on film.
Yeah, but there were guys. It looks more awful because Justin Fields was getting wrangled to the ground.
Yeah, but that was on Fields. Like,
it's true. He's got to throw the ball away.
Yeah, I know it didn't look great, but and then there was another play in the one where Kari Blasingame pancaked the guy in the end zone on the touchdown run. People were like, "What is Sam Mustipher doing here? He barely touches the linebacker." Look, he got enough of them that the linebacker didn't meet Montgomery in the hole, so he still technically did his job. I'm not trying to defend Sam Mustipher. I do think that there has been kind of a shift towards he's the punching bag of the season.
He is, yes.
And some of it's a little unfair. I'm not trying to claim that he's He was rightly benched last week, and it's a shame that Lucas Patrick got hurt. But I also don't think it's like some of it's been unfair. Like he's just kind of getting picked on at this point. But okay,
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Just don't give us the plays. Don't give Bears Twitter that one play where like, oh no.
I saw that going around, and it does kind of look funny. But
yeah.
As we get to our predictions, I'm catching up on you, man. You had a nice week last week. You went 4-2.
Did you go 6-0?
I went 6-0. The Bears game clinched 6-0. So you are now 23-14 on the season, 62%, which is great against the spread. And I am one game back of you at 22-15.
Wow. Like for those gamblers that listen, it's time to start. We're on to something. We're hot.
Well, yeah. After, what is this, year 8, we're finally good at this?
Well, we're learning. I'm taking it a little bit more seriously, to be honest. But yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Well, secretly. Just slightly.
I have no excuses. I've always taken it seriously, and I've always been bad at it.
Well, you probably take it too seriously.
So the other option is, as we get closer to like the halfway point of the season here, you might want to start fading us.
Yeah, true. Law of averages, something like that.
All right. Well, I will tell you this. Bears, Cowboys. 9.5 points. It opened at 10. And the Bears, it did move down a little bit after that Monday night game, that performance. So noon on Fox. Our guy Adam Amin calling the game this week. Still looking for that podcast shout out. Didn't happen.
Come on, Adam.
Didn't happen in Minnesota. Just saying.
Gets a chance to redeem himself.
Just
long
saying.
flight down to Dallas, Adam. We know you're listening.
Not that long.
2.5 hours.
All right. I'm going to roll with the Bears covering. I just think they're that team. I think they're going to find a way to be in it. I don't think it's going to be pretty. Got kind of a weird score, but I'm going to have the Cowboys win 19-16.
Oh.
19-16. I think the Bears have kind of found a formula where I don't think they're going to let the Cowboys get too out of hand with the offense like Kent predicted. But I do think the Bears are going to struggle to score. Like maybe they get 1 touchdown and 3 field goals to get to 16. That type of game.
Yeah, I got 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals for the Bears. So that's 20. I'm going to go 24-20. 23-20 Dallas. 9.5 points is a lot. And the Bears keep games close. They're great on defense in the second half. Just got to keep if your fumbles prediction comes through, I don't know if they could cover, but right now, 23-20 Dallas.
Yeah, that's a problem. I do think they're going to lose the turnover battle in this game. Fortunately. Don't you think, come on, with this matchup on paper, don't you think there's going to be a sack fumble on field? Sorry. I'm not trying to be negative. I said it'll be a close game, 19-16. They're going to be in it.
We are strong where we're strong right now, and we need to improve where we need to improve.
CBS, noon. Dolphins at Lions. So back-to-back weeks for the Dolphins. They go to Detroit this week. Then they come to Chicago next week. The Lions are 3.5-point home underdogs.
Lions are the Lions. They have 1 win. They're not a good football team. Give me the Miami Dolphins by a touchdown on this one, so they cover.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird line, to be honest with you, because the Dolphins bounced back last week. What was the final in that game again? I'm trying to look it up. I had an eye on it. Let's see here. We had the Dolphins. Oh, that's right. It was the Sunday night game. It's kind of ugly. That's why this line's not higher. Because the Steelers certainly had their chances. It was 16-10.
First game back for Tua.
It is, but this was a 3-0 football team. That's now 1-3, and their 1 win was not pretty. And, the Lions, at least earlier in the season, were scoring more.
It's not early in the season anymore, though. The
I
Lions
know.
stink.
They are definitely falling off the train a little bit. The last 2 weeks, they lost 29-0.
They've been hard knocked.
24-6. They go back home, though.
It doesn't mean anything. They stink.
Does it?
Lock up the Dolphins. Lock them up.
Here's their point totals. Wow, you're locking them up.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
We're spending too much time on the Lions here. But their point totals at home this season, 35, 36, 45. I'm taking the Lions. I'm
cover?
taking the Lions.
To win?
To cover. I'm not saying win.
Okay.
They're getting 3.5. I'm taking the Lions. I think this is a suspicious line. Take that.
Think about that.
So take that and think about that for a little bit.
Fox noon. Cardinals at Vikings. Vikings a 3.5 point home favorite over the speaking of weird teams, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. DeAndre Hopkins is back. Had a big game last week, 10 catches. I think where I'm stuck on this, really, the Vikings are 5-1, but they don't feel like a 5-1 team.
Yeah, everyone's down on them. I don't really understand it. Like,
Their
Like
one
what-
loss is to the Eagles.
but they've won these games. I guess the Saints game was a little weird. It was in London.
They beat the Dolphins.
They look bad against the Eagles. So I think that's like the probably game teams or people are fixated on. Like, oh, one time they played a good team. They didn't even score. So I get that a little bit.
I don't think the Cardinals are very good, though. So give me the Cardinals and the points, but I could see the Vikings winning outright.
Okay, I'm gonna roll with the Vikings coming off a bye. They're at home. I think they'll find a way to score. This could actually be like kind of a secretly fun game to watch offensively. So ultimately, I think the Vikings defense does enough, and so I'm gonna take the Vikings.
Good job by Equinemius St. John. He's going to get the block.
Fox 325, 49ers at Rams. Rams are 1.5 point underdogs at home here.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, how about that?
Well, isn't there some thing though? Like, I got mad about this last time they played. They played earlier this season, and the Rams won, and everyone's like, "Yeah, the Rams have beaten them."
What's that?
What? Well, because they beat them like.
Do that again. Who are you impersonating there? Oh, the Rams.
I don't know. Well, that's what it is. Okay, the 49ers have beaten the Rams like 7 times in a row or
Yes.
something. Right?
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
No.
The
Isn't
Rams
that
beat
the
them in the freaking playoffs last year in the NFC Championship game. Why do we do this with the records? Why does that game not count? That game should count more. It should count double. Am I wrong?
Fine.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
I'm taking the Niners.
You're taking the Niners?
Yes.
There is something wrong with the Rams. But what's so good about the 49ers? They keep losing. They lost to the Falcons 2 weeks ago. They got smoked by the Chiefs last week.
It's true. It was close for a little bit.
Oh, man. All right, I'll take the Niners too. What?
And that's the facts. That's 100% truth.
All right, Fox 325, Giants at Seahawks. What did the Giants have to do to get any love? They're 3-point underdogs.
Well, I'm giving them some love here by putting them on the list. Like, I still don't think they're a very good team, but sometimes it's like, I don't know. It's like that, 2001 Bears team that just found ways to win,
Yeah.
right, with Dick Duran. I'm not saying it's probably a bad comparison, but I think you know what I'm saying, right? Like, they're just winning football games. It's not pretty. It is what it is. They're 6-1. The Seahawks are 4-3. Same thing. 2 winning football teams here. That's why they're on our 5-game list here.
Well, this is tough. Like the Seahawks, Geno Smith's been. It's hard to explain what that
Dude is like completing 100% of his passes.
I don't get it. Both of these, like, this is a stay away game for me. Like, what are the Giants do? They shouldn't be this good. Geno Smith shouldn't be this good on the other side. I mean, I want to just take the Seahawks because
I'm going to do it.
It's in Seattle, and it is still a home field advantage. It's going to be a different environment for the Giants, but I'm going to say, look, getting 3, I'm going to take the Giants.
Yeah, you're probably looking at a push here, right? Like,
yeah, probably.
Seahawks by 3, but I'll take the Seahawks.
Yeah. Maybe this line's where it should be. It's just kind of a weird thing.
All right, so 2 words, Aaron Rodgers.
Hall of Fame. 2 words.
NBC, Packers, Sunday Night Football.
How about this line?
11.5-point underdogs.
When is the last time you saw the Packers be this much of a dog?
Never under Aaron Rodgers.
I can't recall it ever. And
he's actually never been he's never been a double-digit underdog as a starter.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick him to cover, but I could see the Bills winning this by 10.
Yeah.
Like a 30-10 score where it's not exactly close throughout and Packers get a late touchdown and it looks more interesting, but 30-20 Bills, Packers cover.
Yeah, I think coming off a bye, the win over the Chiefs, the finger pointing going on right now in Green Bay. The Bills have had some good wins this year, some blowouts. That's why this line is 11.5. I'm taking the Bills. I think they kind of run away with this one. They've shown up in big spots this season, whether it was the opener against the Rams, Monday night against the Titans. They blew them out. They had the big national window 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs in the afternoon, and they came through and won that game on the road.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Here's one final thought before you even ask. Strange year for veteran quarterbacks, is it not? Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers? Russell Wilson? I'm forgetting somebody else. But the old guys aren't playing too well.
That's a good point. Who is the other one you're thinking of? Mitch Trubisky?
No, don't care.
Okay. Is there another one?
I was about to go look that up right now. Trying to think. I feel like there is one more.
This Russell Wilson stuff's wild, man.
Yes.
I'm actually not a Russell Wilson hater, but I understand the stuff that gets thrown his way.
Oh,
if that dude was working out on a plane over the Atlantic Ocean for 4 damn hours, Johns, I would have opened the door and said goodbye. Are you kidding me?
Like, think about like the thought process of this. Like, it's like you see it once, like, okay, he's stretching, he's got an injury to, it's a long flight. I get it. But then like 30 minutes goes by, an hour goes by, 90 minutes go by. Like, you're sitting there like, what the F, man?
Sit the hell down, man. What the hell are you doing? Watch a movie or something.
Yes.
Be normal.
Yes.
Take a nap. What's worse? What? This is a good question for you. Would you rather be stuck on a flight with a stomach illness, the transatlantic flight with a stomach illness? That's why I'm asking you. You've experienced this.
Here, yes.
Or the person next to you is up doing squats and high knees for 4 straight hours.
Well, being the example in this. Like, I was that person who took advantage of everybody sleeping, going to the bathroom nonstop.
You were doing high knees in the aisle for 4 hours.
I was sprinting down the down, not really sprinting, but that brisk walk, like, oh shit, like something's going wrong. I had that going on, but the annoyance factor, at least maybe some people, if they saw me, like, oh shit, like he's not feeling well. I feel sorry for that guy. He looks like a good dude, nice guy.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for that guy. Maybe I've seen him on YouTube a little bit, but no. Russell Wilson doing squats in the aisle. Get out of here, man. Like, he's stretching. He's putting his leg up on somebody else's chair. He's got the bands going. He's doing that squat band thing they do. You know what I'm talking about?
It almost seems like a Will Ferrell skit. Like he's got the headband on, and he's he's
the high shorts.
Yeah,
stretching.
That's what I picture.
Squat thrusts and whatnot.
And then he brags about it.
Yeah.
What? Just read the room, dude.
Yeah.
One time.
I got that other veteran quarterback for you.
Okay.
Matt Ryan.
Oh yeah.
Benched.
You're right.
Matt Ryan.
There's some incentive thing in there in his contract where I think they save money next year if they don't play him.
Jim Irsay move, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's embarrassing. You got benched for Sam Ellinger.
Yeah.
Ellinger.
No, it's just bad.
This is not good. At what point is Chris Ballard in trouble? I know you had the worst luck ever, pun intended, with Andrew Luck retiring on you, but
it's a long time ago now, man.
This is 5 or 6 quarterbacks now.
It's a long time ago. I'm of the opinion that all GMs have to be judged by what they do at the quarterback position, and that includes their willingness to take risks. And I think that involves a draft. You eventually have to draft one.
Well, maybe that's what they're finally doing. My guess is they like a quarterback maybe this year, and they're just saying, look, it's not our year.
Let's go draft one.
Yeah. Let's get in position to draft one of these guys. All right. Well, we got to get out of here. Just a quick reminder, the tickets for next week.
Slide in the Adam Hoge's DMs. They're open, baby.
Yep, they're open. I'm shutting those things down right at noon on Sunday. Yep. So I got to be honest. I don't know. You probably know better than me. What is 400 level Bears tickets usually cost?
No idea.
Okay.
But they do say there's not a bad seat in the house sometimes at Soldier Field. So
$100 at least. Right? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of just trying to help people out. Think about, since this isn't an auction where you can see what the last bid is. I do know our tickets to the tailgate. Actually, I should look that up right now. Parking around Soldier Field is not cheap. I can tell you that. So you're getting that value. 40. The tickets to the tailgate are worth. I'm just telling you what they're worth. They're worth $46 with parking included. $95.
So on StubHub right now, some 400 level tickets are around $150.
Okay. So 150 times 3 is 450. Throw in the parking plus 2 things. I mean, you're looking at something that's probably worth over $600.
Yeah.
Vaguely. Okay. So just as a point of reference, I mean, bid what you want to bid. That's what it's worth. If you can't afford them, obviously. But all the money is going towards the 22Q Family Foundation. Just giving you an idea of what the package is worth, as they would say, if you were doing a silent auction. Usually, they say this is worth this or whatever. I don't know. But just jump in the DMs on Twitter. It's got to be on Twitter. I don't check. I honestly do not get into Facebook messages that much, Instagram. So just for qualification purposes, Twitter is the way to go. DM me, whichever is the highest one. I'll get in contact with you, figure out a way to get the money to 22Q Family Foundation, and then we'll transfer the tickets over to you. And once again, thank you to our awesome listener who, again, wanted to stay anonymous, but is the one that donated tickets. And thank you to CHGO for jumping in with the tailgate tickets, food and drink, parking spot. It's pretty good package. So, yeah, we better get out of here. We got to go to Hal's Hall.
Bears.
Bears. All right. Follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge. I should probably mention the Twitter account at Adam Hoge, at Adam Jahns, obviousshirts.com for all the merchandise. And you can read Johnsy on The Athletic, theathletic.com/Hoge Jahns. I'm at allchgo.com. If you're interested in the tailgate next week, you can go to allchgo.com too, and you can buy tickets as well. Those are up there, and it is going to be a fun time. All right, we're out of here. We will talk to you post-game Sunday, Bears Cowboys.
See ya.